He's calling for the head of the sports minister and a resignation and block of all the FASCO members. As to how I don't know bit me, we leave that for another day. But Masai Enya, two of our very best in the country about sports punditry studio ha in the Daniel Crantain Abekansa from Joy Sports and so and Victor Achu Tamaklo and so from Joy Sports Abekansa. I said me kake Godfrey Akotobo afon so be come on the phone lines sometime in the show. In my mind you know me akwa ba na fiamfe en come on in share so my kai mo say Star Times airboy na ye kusi sen dwumedie abremo say enjoy digital life flumal triple action a action pharmacy ediaba cold and a how pa wedra and on cold any flu when your nasal congestion when your sinus problems maunsanka flumal triple action omodi your visa post payment so be a ton no organ hebia ubenya bi etimi ato Nations Cup ni yeguso den NTNA Star Times say all the 52 matches are airborne you shown live in HD only on Star Times. It's for a cool 180 Ghana cedis. Obesha 150 matches ninyana. 52 matches ninyana, sorry. And now say who need Star Times decoder ni be crowd there. Oma 339 Ghana cedis. Ebema decoder, I'm out dish, I'm out cable plus 1 month super package subscription. Ninyana Star Times offer just to make this Afcon memorable for you and your family. For your hotline is 0242 437-888 0242-437-888 na oni eni enkomo Star Times enjoy digital life DBS roofing and so say free roofing promotion yegu so oba ye ho a come buy roofing sheet na yem fan kobo wo dan so ma free nti installation charge no e free obeto chense ne de abo dan so ma kwa DBS nkwa na yesa de fraying e wo 0240 844-444 na oni yen eni enkomo a roofing papa efie unim say obapa product omone de Africa Queen mackerel obapa sardine and obapa tomato paste aba jaso easy to open we no ede anunsuo na ede papa men Canada mo amopedodo etu no Africa Queen mackerel obapa sardine obapa tomato paste for 0302 668357 na oni yen enkasa opedan atwa ewo ebri anase kropon the serenity of beponesness wani ensa okatre eho ye kama papa se wunya dan wo ho a high standard security service your stable electricity nsuo wo ho your backup generators ewo Kingdom Home Real Estate estate ni bi we ebri ebi nso we kropon ebri de no just close to Ebri Girls Senior High School. Ekropon so right after Latte Junction. We sa dine egu FPA. Oma in 50 to 70% down payment. Near spread the akanama a period of 2 years. No way to without interest. In the frame CCR 0559 671 144. Na only in the enkomo Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality. Daniel Crantain Akwaba at saying.
So,
Bibi Akoye. And me yimu nyina from a comfort zone. Mo beka twi pa. Ba se ahoden ho.
Ahoden ho.
Official panso. Victor Achu Tamaklo. Charlie na okoye bia.
I'm not ready for you.
Charlie. Okay. Welcome to the family.
Thank you.
Charlie. It was always going to happen. Yeah. And we see the nyamiase. Fantastic. In the mention Daniel Yenshase ni yenhwe Blasters about 3 matches at the tournament. General impressions then BBS wo Cote d'Ivoire ye onwa as somebody who follows our game.
Debbie.
BB anya onwa.
Debbie. The only surprising thing. The fact say with 7 minutes to go, now you lead it 2-0. Now you were 4 senior players on the pitch. And no yet justification for taking them to the competition. When it is crunch time, they will be able to show their leadership on the pitch.
And the 4 senior players,
Richard Ofori,
Richard Ofori, okay.
Andrea Ayew, Daniel Amati,
okay,
and Jordan Ayew on the pitch. Into out of 11 players on the pitch, 4 had a minimum of 3 Afcons under their belt. Okay. Minimum of 3 Afcons.
3 Afcons.
So, and they didn't just play a part. They were integral. There were 3 Afcons.
Yeah.
So that is enough experience on the pitch. Into semi a coach, if I put these 4 on the pitch and only 2 started, so Jordan and Richard Ofori. Then later in the game, Medidede and Yamati Abim. Yes. I expect that in the last 7 minutes, with my instruction, they'll be able to see the game out. But when you have the captain, who is playing in his 8th Afcon, has played for the Black Stars since 2007.
Yes.
Having his hand out like that
in the 18-yard
box with 7 minutes to go. If Anka Eye Nyama or Eye Kudus or Eye Pencil, one of the younger players are understandable because that is inexperience. But you can't have this experience, be on the pitch at that time, crucial time, and have your hand out like that and say it's a mistake. It's not a mistake. That is not a mistake. That is a massive disappointment. And that shows the state of your game. It shows that maybe you've already locked out of football. So you should kindly leave and let people who are sharper be on the pitch or come and put on the Black Stars jersey and represent us. Secondly, if it was Wolacott or Atizigi, players who Wolacott only 1 Afcon, so only 1 international competition for Ghana. Atizigi only 1 World Cup where he has played. If it was either of the 2 of them who had made that mistake, where ball no go out, like Obi, and you say like now Ojina on a ball bow. He ran after the ball, so the ball was going out, and he chased the ball. Then he touched it.
And a man is
ball no baby. No chase the ball.
My dream, everyone of me dream. At the point I thought, say, Obi Ayomodru. I don't understand.
It is either, you see, when you watch this thing, it's either it's intentional or shedder, or it's spiritual. You can't explain it.
You can't explain it.
You can't explain it.
There's a goalkeeper. He signaled to defenders and they say, we were born, they call out. I can't believe it.
Then you touch it.
How he touched it.
At that crucial point. And remember, Obi, now you're 2-1.
Yes.
At that point, it was 2-1. So, my main stress was experience. Experienced players at the time. That was 6 minutes to the end of the game. In fact, no, the corner came 93rd
minute.
So, yes, so that was 4 minutes to the end of the game because it was plus 7 minutes. 4 minutes, that is when your experience should tell you that every dead ball situation is an advantage to us. As in when we are winning it. It is a goal kicker. You can use 2 minutes to kick the goal kick. But he touched the ball. Corner kick, we've conceded. Already, Obi, Yamboshe.
In Enra game.
In the Enra game, Yamboshe. And you see, let me use this opportunity to differentiate between the two, the Egypt game and this game.
Okay.
In the Egypt game, and I'll always stick by what I say. Once I believe in it, once I'm
coach, 10
out of 10.
Yeah.
And I gave the coach 10 out of 10 because, Obi, everybody sees football differently. The way you watch it is different from the way I watch it. So Pep Guardiola, the principles here: control, possession, the chance creation, attacking football. So we read about Jose Mourinho. Mourinho say, when he doesn't have the ball, that's when he's in control. Because if he doesn't have the ball, he can't make mistakes. So these are 2 different ways of seeing football. So I respect how Chris Hughton sees his football. I don't agree, but I respect it. And based on the way he sees football, for me, in the 6 competitive games we've played under him, the game against Egypt was the game where we looked the most defensively organized. Because in that game, on the eye test, statistics, numbers, Egypt did not create one chance. There was no point in the game where Egypt forced Richard Ofori into a save. The only time they went behind us was individual errors.
Yeah.
And individual errors are not down to the coach.
Yeah.
So if I am basing it, if I'm giving my assessment on the way the coach sees his football, that is the reason why I'll give him a 10 over 10. Because for the first time since Chris Hughton took over, I was not afraid of conceding a goal.
Yeah.
But if you watch the Cape Verde game, any Enra game, organization zero. We were all over the place. Look, like you said, Senegal.
Yeah.
Because look, it was almost like some Mozambique person or Murai 18. They can do it free. But me tweeted Bribi at halftime. Because say we've been poor. Mozambique haven't yet had a chance. They've not yet created that opportunity. But we have seen the scenarios. That chance, it will come if we continue playing like this. So if we are smart, we'll hurry up and get a second goal and then kill the game. We got a second goal, all right. But they say no. they
No way.
Richard Ofori. Almost there be. So on the whole, if you ask me if I'm surprised, no, I'm not surprised. Because football is science. Trends continue. It's not miracles.
Yeah.
So if you watch our games under Chris Hughton, the only surprise was the Egypt game for me, how organized we were. That's the only surprise for me.
And then was it down to the coach and as a players' determination to want to make a case?
Look, I think it was the two. No. Because so share your shape, as compared to the Cape Verde game.
Yes.
When I say organization, spaces between the defense and then the midfield.
Okay.
Very tight. Very difficult for Egypt to penetrate.
Yes.
That one is coaching. But you see, with coaching comes application. The coach can tell you when you go pass. If you go and you shoot, it is not him.
Yeah.
So, coaching and then the application was good. Individual errors let us down. But when I say that, I'm not saying that I enjoyed it. Do you understand? I'm not saying I enjoyed it. Because again, I may not agree with the way, if I got some program with English.
Yeah.
You understand? If I got like this program is English.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean I don't like the program. It doesn't mean I don't want to be here. I respect that it's true. I'll do my best. The same way, I don't agree with the way Chris Hughton, I don't like his football principles. Me pay defensive football. Me pay Mourinho. I mean, I like Pep. Me pay attacking football. But it is not fair for me to judge Chris Hughton by attacking principles and by attacking metrics.
When or no football
differently. So that will carry me on to my next point. Let me wrap up.
But say Chris Hughton, no, we're coaching with English Premiership. EPL. Chris Hughton.
No difference.
No coaching.
Now say Chris Hughton time now Brighton.
Yes.
Simple 4-4-2. If you like, Man U versus Brighton 2016-17. Almost Man U 3-2.
Okay.
Simple 4-4-2. Game plan or left back to your friend Bongo. Say what kind of Bongo. Boom, long ball into Murray. Murray like Glenn Murray.
Yeah.
Or you're some tall striker. Or body. Or be gidigidi na go. No attractive attacking party there be. Or no there yes are there.
Newcastle, you know.
Oh, mommy, let me give you a typical example. In the last club job, Nottingham Forest.
Yes.
11 games into the season. Now we're winning one match. Now we're relegation zone. The season before, now Nottingham Forest, like friend example, they had financial troubles. So they gave him the job. He stayed in the championship. He did well with the tools that he had. When I say tools, I mean the players.
Players are no one.
But the following season, they wanted a bit more. 11 games, 1 win. Defensive football, but conceding goals. No bazaar. Then they sacked him and they brought Steve Cooper. At the end of the season, Steve Cooper had qualified them to Premier League by playing attacking football. Because the state of the Nottingham Forest team at the time didn't require a defensive coach.
Defensive coach.
So Obi, I'll take you back to last year when Chris Hughton was getting. Last year, March 2022, right after the disaster in Cameroon.
Yeah.
Now we were different platforms. So, Mika says simple. I don't want to sound like I don't like good things, but I know the people of Ghana. Me, I know Ghanaians. I know how we like our football. Put Chris Hughton's body of work aside. Watch his football principles and watch our squad of players. Our squad of players requires an attacking-minded coach. That's how you get the best out of this team.
The Black Stars.
So if you are going to give Chris Hughton the job, and me, it is my principle, my personal principle, my journalistic principle. Whoever is Black Stars coach, me they may support you. I may not agree with you, but I'll give you the needed respect and support. But I gave a warning that he is not the man to carry this team forward. If you take him, maybe based on his experience, if you give him time, a lot of time, he'll be able to let the players understand his way.
Yeah.
But per where we are, and this generation, with an average age of like 22, 23, this team is not for him. I'm not saying he's not good, but this team is not for him. That is why at halftime, when Chris Hughton is analyzing a game, he's not seeing it the way we are seeing it. He's not seeing the fact that we've not created chances. He's seeing the fact that we are conceding too many chances. That's why his mind is going too fast. So he'll fix that problem before he fixes the offensive problem. Wow. And in fixing that defensive problem, that's why he'll take out an offensive winger
in pencil
and bring a more defensive player. In the first game, we saw him take Iñaki pencil out. He brought Iñaki and Dede Ayew and kill the momentum. Because Oslo, he's afraid to lose. He doesn't want to win. He's afraid to lose. Safety first. That is him. Obi, are you getting the drift?
I get you.
That is him. Again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I don't agree.
You don't subscribe to that.
I don't subscribe to that. But it is what any defensive coach would do. It is normal. If you knew him before, you will not be surprised. It is why at halftime yesterday, he looked at his team, saw that we were disorganized, took out Joseph Pencil, who was the only player on the pitch who was offering anything offensively, and brought in Andre Ayew.
Yes.
Me, I can't explain to you why he brought Dede. The only thing, Obi, I can try to explain to you was when Dede came, they didn't go on the wings. Dede went to the top. And Semenyo came, yes, and Semenyo came on the wings. The only way that I can try and explain to you is Semenyo offers a bit more defensively on the wide areas than Pencil. So it proves that the man, when he's looking at the score 2-1 to Ghana, he's not looking to make it 3-1. He's looking to prevent 2-2. Do you get me? That is not who we are. Because we like majority of Ghanaians like a certain brand of football.
But that would also mean say not as a country, you're definite on our football philosophy.
Thank you.
It informs the kind of coach.
The kind of coach that you bring in.
Yeah, because if we know, say, a football philosophy, attacking football,
we'll bring in
Chris Hughton will not come in crowd.
At all. And that's when, this one I'll let me give through pass to
Atu.
That's where the FA comes in. And the incompetence of the FA. The total incompetence of the FA. This thing is not a fluke. And yet by chance. It is not spiritual. It is incompetence. Because since 2019, Afcon 2021, group stage is last. World Cup group stage is last. 1 point. Afcon, World Cup group stage is last. This Afcon, 2 points, 0 wins. Black Meteors under 23, last in their group. They didn't qualify in the group. Under 20s, Oman qualified to tournament in pool. They didn't even qualify to the tournament to be last.
So what's the group stage?
We came out of the group stage. That was we were lucky because Morocco didn't take part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Morocco who didn't take part in the CHAN.
Yeah.
No, was it Morocco? It was Algeria.
No, it was Morocco.
Morocco who didn't take part in the CHAN.
It was the Olympic qualifiers. Now you call Morocco.
Then And so under 17, under 20, under 23, Black Stars, Black Maidens are under 17 team.
They've been banned for 2 years.
That one too, because of age cheating.
Yeah.
That is due to administrative lapses. Administrative lapses till today, nobody has been punished because they like it. They like incompetence. They've subscribed to incompetence. Atu, pass.
Mate, Atu, enti now a friend said Daniel Amaye on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know what happened on the pitch, coach and the philosophy, and clearly he should not be our coach if we had our coaching philosophy and our football philosophy right. On the FA's side, really, and not be Busasongo, and then Uncle FA because point they say tournament. FA no ye imagine say ye mamu good camp ye the mo South Africa Ghana for so mompe almost mumra Kumasi or mama mo bus come mama mo hotel or we the Marco Cote d'Ivoire. FA not provided with what should they have done?
Okay, I'll come to this question, but my point of departure from the Danny's brilliant analysis was that the only philosophy that matters is the philosophy that wins. Forget nice football.
Go now.
Forget nice football. Urban international football. Go na show. Yepe go de ajaule onye them 5 side. Yepe go de ajaule. Aman for pegos what that's out.
Yes.
The only philosophy that matters. I don't think the appointment of Chris Hughton at that time was wrong. And that was why a lot of us felt that the candidates that were being considered at the time, George Boateng, Didi Dramani, whoever, even Otuado. Look, the reality now is, if it came down to giving the national team for some people to experiment with their ideas, because these were rookies. They had never coached at any senior level before. And it didn't make sense, and it will still not make sense now to give the team to them. The option was Chris Hughton, and so for me it was a no-brainer. The only problem is that it is not because the principles were wrong. No. So when Danny talks about why he would want to make a defensive substitution, why he will be fixated with protecting the lead, stopping the chance creation, there's nothing wrong with that too. The problem is that he failed to do that. It has to work.
Yeah.
So when Jose Mourinho says that he's more comfortable when the opponent has the ball, you won't question his logic because he has the body of work to back it. Right? And you can point to several matches where his teams laid in siege. What's nature? What pack back? Bas no 2 banks of 4. They are closing down this. The Wafre BB half space penalty box a nim area hawk 10 years. They have blocked that space. You are not creating the chances to score.
Yeah.
The current iteration of Jose Mourinho has lost credit because the principles that served him so well these days no longer deliver the results. Mourinho hasn't changed. He's not playing attacking football. His teams are not seeing more of the ball than they used to back then. The only difference is that these days the methods aren't providing the return on investment or the results. In Tinka, Egypt, and you see, against Egypt, for me, it was not a containment assignment. It was an assignment to go dominate and get the results. On Intina, in the second half, your free in-game management, the match those tactical tweaks a coach would make, because then when the opponents, it's just like a game of chess. They are moving the pieces around. In the second half against Egypt, what the Egyptians essentially did, Rui Vitória, what he essentially did was that he decided that he would throw caution to the wind, threw the kitchen sink at the Black Stars, and added an extra man to the attack. So they essentially were attacking with 5 and 6 players on occasion. So at any point in time, they had 3 players to combine. That was why very often they drew rings around our defenders. So was it game now Bejina young fullbacks and then Denis Odoi. And we were forced to make many last-ditch tackles. For a quality team, those scenarios would have been converted into goal-scoring chances. Into Danica, there's a Yeshia Senegal, because we all understand that them situation on your chance, mom. But if you give that space to a quality player, Obama BBSC. So we got away with it. That it did not mean that the game plan worked. But on the issue of the FA, I think the real question should be, what have they done right?
FA for now?
Yes.
And that's what they want to qualify for the tournament.
Look, the extent, I'll cut them some slack to the extent that what we're seeing now is perhaps the product of years and years of mismanagement. But they have had 5 years to do something about it. And that's why they have failed. They have had 5 years to roll out this. Whenever you speak to Prosper Arrising, and they tell you that, Waniji we're raising Komo to find a way to introduce
bring back
more
school sports now.
And find a way to get more instructors, and even look at what Azar was a more from Anna. It's just talk shop.
But I don't know how long should it take, because Asante region still
it's just talk shop, right? And the Mazana Yen some of our best players, they go out there to play, and then the feedback from the coaches there, it is damning, not only on the players, not only on the coaches who train these boys here, but on the people who pretend to be running football in this country. If we Banier's coach at FC
Sion. As it was Sion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oko first no. Daniel Basam the coach okay. Also the fundamentals don't exist. Basics no. Nyaman ketenkete anka bia Eko primary school or that what the as a footballer.
How to kick a ball.
He doesn't have it. The natural talent.
And he was
there.
the best player in our league.
Oh yes. Abdul Fattah Isaku.
Yes. Oko Lisbon now.
Yes. Fattah was at Sporting Lisbon.
Sure.
B. Not even A. B. It was the same thing that we were told.
And this was the best player in Africa at the youth level.
Exactly.
At under 20 when he was 17.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this thing is damning because when you look at where Yeneti Penfa continents where their players go to and what happens and the feedback that comes from there. One of the best performers at this tournament has been Lamine Camara.
Yep.
Senegala.
Yes.
Small boy now.
Small boy.
So not the best player under 20 now.
Yes.
So
Abo. One best player from under 20 no, compare Ono to Ghana and best player from under 20. It's taken Fattah Isaku 2 years to get a semblance of decency. And even then, it is in the English Championship with Leicester.
And Lamine
plays at Metz.
Straight.
On his debut, he scored a goal from the center.
In the French league?
Yeah, in the French league.
From Senegal.
Center.
Straight to
from center of the park to the opponent's net.
But so no academy player.
Yeah.
But the quality is so good that you can throw him into the pressure cooker situation and he will deliver. What is the difference? They are able to influence the development of the talent at an age where the players are still malleable. Age from an Chawana Ubohuno, I want to Chawana because in the Abrante Bijonaika the winner bear 20 years, 21, they are no longer teachable.
Yes.
They've missed about 10 years of their development. So we don't have that. Rather, we are interested in throwing money on the players. And the players have also come to the realization.
If you want to do this project, because a capital intensive project, because football, to build one world class talent, the investment is huge. Even though when you eventually sell, you would recoup and make even more. In the investment, where should it come from?
It should come from the FA and the ministry.
From the ministry.
No, Mamin baby FA. The recent FIFA forward and goal project reports that came.
Yes.
They told us that they've given Ghana excess of $8 million.
Which can build you a decent academy.
Do you see the evidence of that investment in Ghana football?
8 million now.
Yes, $8 million.
Now balls now what chairman club or first anything. Balls no confess anything. Say maybe only been ordered 12 balls.
I had to restrain myself because come be. Sabi or today ebia abrante bia komizin. Oye janka.
Yes. Yes.
Onye boafo. Na obi ache no 10,000 cedis. No say them 10,000 cedis no. Or that nyama bia by the time about 5 p.m. Ansan Azerbaijan.
Yes.
Comes in only is no busy. Only baby over that. But what says can?
Okay, Mobo. In the FIFA goal project, them scano.
Yeah.
Oba with a specific ada what they be.
To my example. Echo Mauritania.
Yes.
And Mauritania is one of those countries I'm confident and born because even as of now, they have not completely outlawed slavery from their constitution.
Okay.
But in 2016, their national stadium was still not complete. They needed to play an international match and they didn't have a facility fit for purpose. So, and at that time, FIFA, Washasi and CAF, they were being strict on these club licenses.
Sure.
And see, if the facility does not meet standards, baby, what did they do? They used the FIFA and listen. Stadium. Those uneducated guesses, the lies that out of propaganda and wickedness people have thrown into the space to give people impression that the FA cannot raise any significant capital or make any capital investment. We need to disabuse our minds of those. They use those monies to finish the Olympic Stadium. They built a technical center, built a medical center, built an academy, and then use that to properly structure the
FA.
Yes. FIFA one forward is Kanomba Ministry be our wonimu.
On Wadima Association.
Association, yes.
Direct.
And they had $11.1 million US. So they used it
to do all of that?
Yes. And then also properly set up their women's football.
11.1 million.
Yes.
What the year the Madi in
Dalj Ketokreku or Prosper Arrising, Dr. Randiabi, and ask them what is the evidence of the money that we have used for our football. I mention these figures because even beyond this administration, there have been significant power brokers in Ghana football. Prosper Arrising, until before the Ketokreku administration, was the general secretary of the chairman of the DC. Ketokreku was an executive committee. Then they used the nomenclature then was executive committee. He was on that committee. We know all about Dr. Randiabi. Call them, ask them where has Ghana's forward and goal project monies
on them Scanoba Abaye
GFA cumulatively
and 8 million.
Yes, but I've told you as I've been wasn't one day.
And are you saying that with that 8 million, no,
we don't have evidence of what we have used for?
Nothing. What's where boreholes been at there? Oh,
and sabi.
Oh no, you know, for them, Kenima. No, that's why boreholes. Not more.
Sabi.
No, but that's true.
Sabi says it's a kakoko ma Afroba Jimmy for an
I know.
But
it's true that we have boreholes.
Yes.
It's true that we set GFA Foundation.
Obi.
One of my former players.
Obi,
are they from those monies?
Any smart, futuristic management of Ghana football will allocate these resources such that it reflects a certain appreciation of the needs of our game. And even more importantly, an attempt, the evidence of that attempt to correct the needs or to provide the needs of our game.
Yeah.
So it is not enough to say that, borehole, no, are they the most important needs of our football?
So at the FA, who watches the watchman? If, for example, say FIFA goal, Sikaba, who is to supervise and monitor and see that what
I want to answer just to conclude.
Yes.
And I hope we'll come to the players.
Yeah, we'll come to the players.
Well. I want to they have the executive council. But unfortunately for every football enthusiast, the people who are supposed to check those who make the decisions, the people who are supposed to check the Dr. Randiabis cannot do that because, and meaning no disrespect, a lot of them do not understand the power they have.
Only a one
and they are
football owners now.
Yes.
I want to form delegate for one congress now.
We'll be here. Imagine and Sisia, why am the people who can actually influence and have a proper conversation with these guys and hold them accountable, they are not interested in it. Echo FA Congress, some of the people that you will meet there, excuse my language, are like me. Nobody's like me. But imagine if Ketokreku went to the table and he met the Asante head there, and then he meets Togbe Afede there. He meets Nana Ajibambedu.
Yeah.
The sort of message you communicate to them
will be different.
The sort of stewardship you would explain to them will be different. Instead, the reality of our situation is that a few months ago, BetPower pulled out of the Ghana Premier League sponsorship. All they told the clubs was that sponsorship So whatever monies that they were owed have either become bad debts or the FA will take those debts on and pay. Now here's the thing. The clubs did not know the content of those BetPower deals. In fact, when a lawyer Monday raised concerns about why that was morally and legally wrong, that the clubs will sign up to that, he was victimized. So whilst we speak at length about the rots at the FA, the incompetence there, the people who can hold them in check are
not doing it.
Because how do you tell me that Yako Congress, they have presented the FA accounts to you. Over time, they have told you that, oh, this is what FA made this year. This is what we spent. But over the 8-year period, no, you are now coming to the realization that, okay, they spent about $8.8 million from FIFA. And you, I want at the Biaoko Congress, no, you don't see the evidence of that. And over that period, they have not been able to raise any issues. But it's journalists that have to come and complain. Now, you guys are catching though, and we're outside.
I get your point. Microphone line, so Godfrey Akutubu for Haba, answer no. Danny, now person can be on FA and how we use Susika FIFA Hoban.
Yeah, so FIFA for the money, no. There are a list of things you must do in order to access certain amounts of money. Okay. Now there's a portion for projects. So, example, Achumai on the technical center in the Olympic Stadium, it falls under project.
Project, okay.
So you must present your proposal.
Yes.
And how you plan to go about it. Then FIFA will fund it for you. In the last report that we received, Ghana project column 0.
Really?
So. And everybody gets up and I think it's about 10 million per
project.
Yeah, not per project, but in a space of time. Let's say 10 million every 4 years. So that 10 million we could have used to fix Pram. That would be our technical center. Something like what Morocco have, what Senegal have, what Mauritania now have, what Cape Verde use theirs for. We don't have some. It's non-existent. So we'll come here and go and pay hotel bills and complain that we don't have facilities. Meanwhile, FIFA says there's 10 million there. You just come and tell me that you are willing to fix it and I'll give you the money to go ahead and go and fix it. Our project's 0. And these are the same people who, just a couple of months ago, September or August, launched a DNA, Ghana DNA football, some DNA book B. How they plan to implement it, they didn't tell us. The content of the book, the content, that is basically the syllabus that we use to teach our footballers.
Yes.
The thing that a free Barnier's coach in Switzerland was complaining about.
That we don't have.
That we don't have. Now we have. But the syllabus that syllabus, we don't know what is inside. It's only at the FE. So you don't have a technical center. As it stands, you don't have a technical directory because Bernard Lepet, he's gone. He left in September.
Yes.
But you have a syllabus. So it's like GES saying that let's reopen a school. There are no teachers, but there's a syllabus there. And they say it's okay, fine, the students can go. So when the students go to class, what are they going to learn? Or who is going to teach them?
In the way had money and KBH media project just to debunk or more FADA and your project.
Cape are doing it.
Yes.
Mauritania are doing it.
We could also have done it. And maybe we'll look at what government can also do. Mamene Godfrey Akotobo for ending komo. Akoto akwabe ko si saying soni.
That's you be official fans.
Afi papa bibi aboko there.
The movie.
Fantastic. In the meaning, sir, you didn't come bebre as to what really happened. But now, you focus more on the way forward. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where we want to see Ghana football and the things we have to do now to achieve our vision. Any idea? I've heard you complain. Somebody in football management, they say, even from our junior teams, no. So baby are players no FIBA into under 17 into under 15 any under 16 any under 20 any other that's a clubs been na hijackers are collapse into almost clubs in quantity free ever. Is that the case?
I think there will be a debo Chibiano or your observant obekano culture they must sakaka process na here and me say Ninja hard dream is a anymore. Players now see a war IF or mono. They don't emerge into the national limelight on Baby Boy at the senior level. Ain't Emma your team building no Ayadin. Ninja who here see being at level, no right, national level, no be almost completely impartial and necessary. Obekaya, you're not 2 great generations of black stars in the last 20 years. Okay. Ubekaya, so 2 generations, no. came out of 2 generations of year under 20 and 17. Into Yebeka Derek Boatini ACM Diano, Argentina 2001. Sure. That was 1 generation. And Andre Ayeomo generation. No. So Obi Beka no crash 60% of 2 teams moved on to play in the Black Stars properly.
Yes.
About 40% of them went on to have very successful careers. We talk about 30% of them had reasonable careers. In the ocean margins now, it was very acceptable. Now, in the last 10 years or so, you bet me I can the same thing and there be then assessor. The assessor they say the way I need free players, the way I teach players, you know most to do. I can never be great. Never na you to me ya. It me my 2 pounds. You just any money and I everyone kakano. Obi. Never na ye no. Say can't you say ben you na esua na no. Ena omudi sika e the planning at home. No omudi 2 pounds. Yeah ni ya at the time na e my dominating no. You just any money. Ena ye dey say you be building national team na Black Stars na esoro no. Ye just ye ntia e kosoro kobo. As a macho man and the suru ding so na see sana ye football na ye enu ntina ye kode bia ni akopim e abutre ni yeni e na nokre ni empese ye beka eno na dia bisi ni na obi
but eno no, how do we change it and who will change it for us?
It's again enu ye omo ye football and aban in 2 different ways. Because the DBA say, Krobia and you the ball, acquire more, a buying send. I will be FIFA interference. There is a certain football for any abiding between your relationship, any relationship, Brunibaka say a hostile. If you never say, interfere. What I said, there is positive collaboration between the two. So collaboration, so most of the time, it comes only with the Black Stars. And yes, a Black Stars Iketia, Black Stars Hotel, Black Stars Campina. You rarely see that collaboration. And I think that junior national teams into Akuchiska, and then a Black Queens or Mubonosis Akeb, it tells you that the collaboration is very limited. Now, in order to fix the problems that we have raised, you hear infrastructure, it be pitches, it be training schools, it be district supervision. There is nowhere FA Ninko between me and Abine Ebemu.
When you talk about Akoto, so what about pitches now? Government can argue say under them and also my some astroturfs, Ebia Koti 150 youth resource centers are launching for 10 of them in the regions. Into infrastructure being built na yekin.
Obi, what's a dansuma? Me pacho dansuma.
Yes.
Me bobo wa dansuma. Pacho oba no pesa bobo wen.
Na dansuma Carindorf Park ho.
Na sa Carindorf Park oba no ntumi nra ho nka so bobo keke. Say team ne ma ho kwan say onko gina park ne so a. Ma me ma typical example. Ablekuma West. Me no yet Ablekuma West.
Yes.
See you can footballer, your friend of Accra West District. Accra West District, you were 80 football teams. So 80 football teams, you're training. You're not to be training work Randolph.
Yes.
You're not to be training Lord Comey Park. Lord Comey Park, oriented 300 Ghana cities. Some of the coast clubs come to Tunsu Kroguni. Keep Fit Club, Honami team you're training. Your boy league match, it was just a live park, it was Sahara. While Sniff Flat, you be sorry, park it will be the Hoy, block 9. Park it exhibition. A binomial training, it was our park that's Sniff Flat, block 9. So if you tell me, say, most infrastructure, what is the accessibility? Why need to mirror our infrastructure? Astro test in the manner or can any sporting resource centers. Resource centers na hini yebiano in the past 3.5 years. Yebia Kufodiano. Kufodiano yebiano no pacho and yebia. What is a coast teams ne Kufodia bro no so no hono training ana. What is a why they supervise coast teams ne Kufodia bro no so some training or what? In the Astro test in the policy in there. Maka wasem we be. I think say almost 30 and na idea no. A idea papa. but in the end no ebeye bibia ase ye di pesika kakra ena afi nso ye nhyeda ntiase menti ameka se ye nhyeda ntiase ne se astrotef na yesisi no ebi ye papa ebi nye papa mintumi nka se ni nyina nye papa eno de ebi me nko baby a but at least we share quality of baby a metumi abo baby astrotef Tema Sports Stadium astrotef we hu da obi.
Yeah, I think I've been there once. Why is Kobo Middle Lake?
20 years old.
Yeah, it was really well done.
What would say a party that?
That bit.
Call Fadama astrotef na kwasha ade. Dana make as a Joseph the robe of many colors no. Ko ajinga no na kwashe. Alaju astrotef nice one bi wo ho. Enya problem. But in so tope astrotef ne moamoa. Te se nia obi moamoa no. Dano Kumasi ba ku be mu bie no endi 2 years. Me hu video na inframa bo astrotef no te se obi ntoma a enam krum. Astrotef ben a ya ne papam ena inframa to me bo na astrotef ne tu na dem rim. That is the problem. Secondly, no access obi youth development about access. In collaboration, the same media can catch in collaboration and now menu ya Accra West hano. So me nya baby anya training ya on be kofi. Born into me cost. Sakolan obobo 4-5 hours a day. See obobo no 1 hour because e je na nsika beso. Nti e bia mo bo sika no Monday to Friday or akobo born once e wo Luso Park o 300 Ghana cedis. Yeah, this haniama no esi football development ne kwan. Inside them be kwan sa because in Kolala mo bobo ni free. The number of hours on be here, you be developing, and so then Nihosa. I understand, say yes, facilities, are being built. But one, the quality is questionable. Again, health risk at that home. Today is not the day I'm person be but all I'm saying is that infrastructure now, yes, and so that you're complete and then you're comprehensive, sir. Two, infrastructure now, yes, and plan beyond that one is feeding into the general development of talent. About 17, about 20, na about black 23, na ebia akura black stars anymore. Sa niema no na ye hwehwe we ye board. Nti na me ka kire say enka tete no. Da no na me na ulikwe edin komo. Obo Starless, I think 95, 97. Also for the 2 years no was Starless camp, not Winneba. Monday to Thursday. Friday no aba no Olympics at the time. Obe train with Accra to Olympics. No,
Augustine I am for so the same thing or her.
No sign call.
Yeah.
I have also the same thing.
Sure. Or the same
exactly. Thing. Exactly. By the time imagine players 15, 20 or matching together for 2 years in that facility. I throw mobile twice a day for 2 years. That is why we had the quality. And then pram it's me for a national team batch. You free 200 players. Obiako 5 days. Near selecting. That even tells me, say, scouting now, players now, friend. Said anymore because Anka, there is no way you have a national team at Obi, you have 200 players. It doesn't happen. But that is what we have here. To me, I'm fixing, especially at the grassroots now. And I see on here, and then they said Daniel Cranching and now or more cancer. Why are the facilities? Maybe a bit shareborn in this animal. It is not just about Black Stars, and to me, PMP rim. Na could do smooth that park no some bobo. So we knew what 17, we knew what 20, we knew what 23 Obi. The Blasters will never win. That. There is no way a Blasters every year 17 no I say, 20 I say, and 23 I say. It will not happen.
But and also no despite what we all expect government to do. Achune Daniel made the point about FA Nsudio Mbitimiaye in the FIFA goal, Enisika, Eba, Anka strategically FA Nsubitimia Nyoma Bia, Anke Betimiame Yenya result be that has not happened. And I don't know, say, Omo call FA Congress, Eya Ukobi.
Me team division 3 teams in Congress.
No more Congress, why more?
And no, make us say. And okay, na me new din komo. And I was just saying, say, you ball krum hano. Nema na ekoso ye ball mu no. Ye betumi aka aban, ye betumi aka FA, but ye ball no. Ye the most responsible for the situation ye woman no. And na okay no. Ye ko Congress nkomo be need. for the last 3 or 4 congresses, drama a year back as journalists did actually obi why is that discussions ni bi da me ma is that discussions ni bi da obi pese faculty kwan so e amend statute say na be ya obetumi aba ebia 3 or 4 years and I say bibi e the player ebeba e the team ebe free ebia one division akwa another division e rare say yakọ congress football for I said there di ball ho enkita ho die the ball no be kwa ni men kai last time as anko mani bi see on the agenda na ye call ya for 2 days for the whole day and ebia for 1 hour ni ye dinkita ho say okay adena pam me nsi ye adenti na ye course no I say then you betumi ya okay you free congress we no resolution ya pass ni enti say ye course ni be ni say you to me implement people hold the FA to task. It has not happened under Ket, and it was not happening under Kusinya Techi.
No, are you saying, sir, core Congress are on the agenda for Congress, no? The state of Pram Abba agenda, nesoda, ebin sida.
We don't have productive conversations at Congress. My dad's phone is well, they cover Congress. I've covered Congress. The last 2 or 3 congresses I've not covered. Last Congress I've covered the Congress that brought Keto Kweku to power as FA president. Since then, we cover Congress. But the point is, since before then, I covered basically almost every Congress. In Komona Yekudi, most of the time, it is not the kind of conversation that the most pertinent need of football development in the country. Most of the time, it is the FA looking to protect itself because FA your poster, you're very defensive. You're for the kind of asset. Obi kan asem go Congress okay yen the kind asem intime mo bia nkebi so we end up not actually having conversations about the true state and can just Argentina juvenile football for so many years it was not happening until Ket by we had not had coast football being played in many parts of this country for many years. When was the last time a conversation had been had about it? Nobody was talking about it. The state of Pram who has said, say, okay, let us try and find money from here and here to fix Pram and raise it to a world-class level. Opa Mayenfa minutes of Congress, bro. Nipa ko raise this issue, no, and then for a year debate, and then support here. Where were they? If they made the point, what was the follow-up? It's Yanoma ya born, no. It's a pussy agenda for success, no. Yana Kasano, you're interested. It's in common and no, me blame you. Make me blame Oma teams in your Modiano. And now maybe born that you know any Oma form a dumunu. Oma teams in your
Modiano. No?
A lot of times the owners themselves rarely show up at Congress. Oma teams in your Modiano. Into Uber realize some of the more powerful people away football are the people who are employed by clubs.
Jatasro Domi your friend is saying Sebosro consult Sebosro or brutal Sebosro consult and I can be money you're from
exactly these are the people who matter in football. What would to go Congress
that be
you understand? But once in a while if it is really a big issue Ube who say A B and Nana Sambru Butler will be represented drafts and I say okay, Doma man he owns Timber Congress. I didn't Timber Congress. But he owns a club. You see, and it's supposed to be the highest level of interaction between the people who spend their money. But most of the time, and to be honest with you, that has also not helped the state of our football.
Yeah, it's true. Finally, me know be Godfred. In this Sisiano, Black Stars. Nyame boa, sisi I hope kakra. Though
I hope at the Cameroon ni Gambia on my board draw and
and as a first half a draw 0-0.
Into
your bonfire say be conesa. You bet me the 2 points not qualify.
But other results, I could
but say I'm qualified corner say be fear. What are the top 3 things? Obviously, immediately, and was say yes, say me the Ghana to me asha on say take decisions. Top three decisions when I'll be taking.
Well, I think the first one to move the game forward. No, as I said, the ministry, and by that I mean the government. As I say, or improve Ninkita Hudie, ever your born, not as a Black Stars sponsor. But
too bad. Godfred Ahomano article. You could see saying higher Sempa FM. And remember back to the studio. Now, Yemra Meshe, actually, now can be before players Nankasa Eho. And then I come back and we look at the way forward. Say team Liba Bidua. What are the things we have to? Because I remember, say, 2021, after the disastrous out in Afcon Cameroon, yeah, but now had this away. We made, similar suggestions. By way in our mind, and like we always do, yeah, but Kasa no be a tournament neighbor so a free place, Kakabia pay up nationalist sentiments na I am fan kwebe na yakwani yakwakugu ye ho ni masene aba. Ma me wrap you up with a tournament time. Godfred, yes, into me wrap.
When Americans say aban nkita udia one football association one. I say aban to me simu kenakaka. And by that, I don't mean say or sponsor national team. By that, I mean say aban say for the next 4 or 5 years, Ghana Football Association will plan the same.
Okay.
Born person we understand. We DNA about September. DNA no for the DNA no. Mu he sika sen e dey share DNA no. School be mu dey share DNA no. And by that I don't mean school as a classroom, but FA no facilitated seminars.
Oh. Dansuma network he had. Sincere apologies. Because I wanted to be yes, in the actual yes,
a brilliant point.
Yes.
See, one of the low-hanging fruits, there are the extensive long-term, medium-term plans but one of the low-hanging fruits, the things that we have to do in many years, is change the management culture around the players.
Management culture around the players. And on as you're saying, like player agents,
no. The management from the presidency, I'm talking about Jubilee House, right down to the Black Stars team manager.
Team manager, this is here.
The way they hand, Shadow.
They're not war a Dreams FC, no.
The administrative manager.
I don't know a team manager. I'm a Black Stars of Ghana.
Yeah.
Shadow,
yes.
Why a footballer? And I know a day.
No administrative, but what's up opposition?
Dreams.
Yes, what's up opposition?
Before Dreams, not our fan.
I think he was a writer at the Ghana Soccer Net.
Ghana Soccer Net. Okay.
For many years. And then
you don't know a team manager, Cecilia.
Yeah.
Before him, now I'm a team manager.
So I think we had Stephen Appiah. Before Stephen Appiah, we had
Sabankwe.
Yeah.
And Kwesi Nyantichi, now I'm a Black Stars team manager.
Sabankwe was under Kwesi Nyantichi. So we had Pokwe Free.
Black Stars team manager, what do they do?
Remember.
But I think the whole can issues.
I remember over time.
Yes.
A corner any players never do no. Oma team no sumbo maun. Sabi obi oji enyamo honsam no man pay na kopa ni chow. It is only in football. Like imagine a state minister misbehaving and then the president will call him and go and beg him that. Like a state minister misbehaving and then resigning.
Yeah.
Then the president will call him and go and beg him. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Why would presidents do that for footballers?
And African president especially.
Yeah. Andre Ayew, he was petulant in 2013. Kwesi Appiah cracked the whip. He decided the Ombo national team bill. President Mahama called him and essentially begged him to rescind his retirement and come and play. In 2019, there was the Asamoah thing and all of that.
In Cameroon, so say on president interfere in
and
other occasions.
Beyond distance, Zibia players no more open away. 2019, in the midst of the whole Asamoah situation, we had Jan and Andre walking up to the presidency to go and negotiate for bonuses, circumventing the entire management committee, GFA Executive Council, Sports Ministry, straight to Jubilee House. Esiama was in his constituency. Then he received a call that the Black Stars are here for an engagement, and then they called him to. What those two players did was to tell the president that we are going to win you the Afcon, so increase our bonuses to $12,000. The president agreed. They asked the president, the Umbra Egypt, Nombe Ghana first match. You know what the boys did? Against Benin, we drew 2-2. 2-2 against Benin. So you have a situation where when players break ranks and show acts of indiscipline and coaches even sanction them, you have the highest office of the land intervening and essentially making nonsense of the disciplinary structure.
Coach, and what they are
setting that aside, we did that. Today, that person is perhaps the most prominent player since that time till now. There is the Samoan scenario that I've given you. When you do that, and the ease with which, and you see, after the 2019, when they promised the president that they are going to give us $12,000, when we made it out of the group, by the way, we won just one game at the group stage. They insisted on the $36,000 US. For them, their motivation is money.
The players.
Yes. And ever since, now we have created this culture, meaningless culture, where every time a national team wants to travel, they have to go and greet the president. Yeah. The president has to host them
before they go.
Growing up, you meet the president when you've achieved something significant. Yes.
Now the trophy.
Yes. But the same President Akufo-Addo, when the players disappointed him, they lied to him. Yeah. They failed miserably because at that tournament, we had our worst performance until then in the modern era to Tunisia. Yeah. Round of 16 exits. Yeah. Just 2 weeks ago, he hosted them in Kumasi. Other Stoneboy in Sengaton.
Ifua.
Yes.
So and then now the management style around the team,
and the money aspect especially. These days, the only motivation for them to come and do well is the money. And it's kind of
but is it the case? Say players never bow clubs need to
it's not that, but you see, here's the thing. For a lot of those players, the Black Stars is a free ticket to come to Ghana and holiday and go.
Okay.
Yeah, US, so they love it. The reason they wanted to go to South Africa is that Black Stars boys, they know South Africa and US better than Ghana. Every nightclub, every corner, every ghetto, they know there.
Into Omuji bonus now, chilling. Okay.
These are things that we need to stop. And you see, there is the modern.
But are there good examples in Africa of how other countries are managing such issues now around their team?
We don't need to look far. Let's look within. As in here,
even if a general football culture.
Even if it is the culture elsewhere, it is working against us.
Okay.
Maybe I've been where you're born.
Okay.
But what is the benefit of that here? Right? Yeah. You look at that situation and you see this whole concept of diaspora national team. The fans don't get to see them. The players, Odukotoka, straight to Alisa Hotel, training session, nobody comes there. Alisa Hotel, nobody comes there. We'll train you straight through their buses. Match the night about Pachel. We come and sit here and pretend that, they love the country, so please fans, come and watch. Watch a match in New Year, straight to Kotoka, then they go. But even the process of them getting down here, you have people who, if we had any sense of decency and pride, they would never play for us. Because for someone like Iñaki, when you open your mouth and say that you don't think you won't ever play for the country because you don't think you deserve to play, those conclusive statements, we have to move on. That we had to go and beg Salisu Mohammed, and he was one of our worst performers at this tournament.
Obviously, because he was out for 8 months.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if you look at some of the mistakes that he made, Obi, my grandmother will clear that last-minute goal that he failed to clear. Like, do you blame that on muscle memory or lack of sharpness? Look, for every professional player, you're a defender. Your natural instinct in that situation is to make contact with the ball and clear it. Then you turn around to see what is happening behind you. That is not form. That is not lack of muscle memory or much sharpness. That is because a person doesn't care. He's not moved to put his body on the line. So when you make it all about money, they will turn up, take the money and go. They are not perturbed. They don't feel any sense of disappointment or any sense.
Do you think say a Drew leveler, if the country should take a decision, say, and a fair Black Stars tournament where more kono, my bonus be one day comes.
Yeah, but now they feel this is the norm, and for whatever reason, the people whose job it is to protect the country's resources will advance. Yes, they will advance. They will advance that argument. Until you betum ya corner you could feel. Then we'll come to the negotiation. Tell me, how is it conscionable that someone will go to cabinet, the finance ministry, and say that after you qualify from group stage, you know, $30,000 or they my players, you know, so we have to pay. How? We're not Cape Verde, we're not Mauritania. This is a country that even in the years that we have been complaining that Yenje Afcon, we are used to making the semis as a given.
Final.
Yet it is the group that is giving us our worst performance that are demanding even the biggest windfalls. And see, ye
30,000.
boy, Cape Verde, Egypt's match. Na another day
Yes. I mean, I don't need to me 2 points in a qualifier. On budget 30,000.
That is how much we're told they would receive.
10,000 per game.
Qualification bonus.
Yes, qualification bonus.
But why do we give them that much?
Obi, look.
These are millionaires already.
That's a no. The last match you took on Comoros, there was a player in the Black Stars team who was injured in the game at Yeboaha, who should not have traveled with the team. But per diem na Brunti, or it's not playing Okojiska.
But players, no, do they know, say, payment na you insist on no?
They don't care. They have relatives here. If I sit here and I insult them or I say something that is factually incorrect, it is a relative that will inform them and then they will file the lawsuit. Until they know. Everything that the same way Yakabibia in Nankofutin, what's it? It is I cannot for being one. Nankofuba friend our catcher. They know, they are aware.
Wow.
But the reality is that this is the culture that we have fostered.
It
has to look. Okay. I don't see why Ghana we have other each other mobile black because also be afum on the ancestors so into Yanko Panichan and about Black Stars. Like why must these things happen?
Management culture would have to change.
Yanko Panicho. And because you have former presidents doing that in the past. Current presidents
is also doing
as a Mojan Yanko Panicho and right in the midst of that, what now one say it speaks volume of the level of respect they have for you because Obi asemi wa me faro pa men kancho asemi wa me faro pa the masam ne men kancho. So that has to change. We need to be able to change or substitute the symbol that the players play for. That thing that motivates them, that moves them to cover that extra blade of grass, that thing that makes them want to put their body on the line to come and play even when there's only a 5% chance of playing. We need to take it out. In this moment, that thing is money. Yeah, because that thing is money. Yes, we need to, and it is non-negotiable because look, if you run a successful youth regime, you discuss with now, you put infrastructure and everything in place. But at the heart of it, money is still the biggest factor. What it will do is that it will poison the entire food chain into the selection base. I want to work on the 17 one. Obianim there, Skaoho, into Ebutu and Sanakum.
Yeah.
Curiously, is Sky as Madam Boy saying now, we are doing this at the period where Black Starlets, Satellites, Meteors, Chan team.
Bonuses are in arrears.
And their coaches are not paid. So there is a direct relationship between the decisions that they make in terms of the players that they give the national platform to and the products.
Man must survive.
The only reason why we are now forced to fall on these diasporan boys who have no connection to Ghanaian football is because players now you want to under 17 or 20. So we can't promote them. So we can't promote because so why are there? Their career progression will be such that you can't avoid them.
Yeah, it's true.
Here, Kudus Mohammed. Right from under 17, under 20. I mean, Mohammed maybe because of attitude and some other issues in Yamankwe. But you could tell which of those players in the team had the future. Yeah, sometimes you have, like I've mentioned, Aminu, Eya, Tokumo, Bibinti, Clifford Abuajemo.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Even Toku recently.
Yeah, he was at Monaco briefly. The places, the places where the
underage teams, maybe
under 17, and the under 20. Maybe a players know Befano. It will show you because at under 20, everyone wants quality. They will not discriminate. And if this team discriminates, Kudus was at Northern Ajax. Amin Mohammed was at Manchester City. A year was at Monaco. Toku was at AZ Alkmaar. Respectable teams. the platforms will call for you.
Will call for you. It's true.
Find out which teams the last under 17, under 20, and under 23 teams players are.
Terry Yegbe.
The last under 17 under 20.
Yes.
Players, no.
Or in fact, other teams now.
I say maybe a
like Jose Mourinho said.
Yes.
Where they play, what they play, and if they play.
But it's because also be more in your tournament beyond.
Not necessarily. The main point is that when you hasn't in one qualifying.
Foreign scouts no umunim talents no.
Yeah. And omo oni omo mo hwe.
Thank you. Force na man kwaya. Onye league here, yes league here and we fan kwaya.
Yeah. If you don't have it, you don't have it. In the mobile omo mfa. But Danny inti way forward no yenye den if the team gets back to Ghana. Already, your World Cup qualifiers have started. The next Afcon next year, right?
Yeah, start you. World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, start.
Yeah, but next Afcon.
Next
Afcon qualifiers. How many bonnet time?
I think
from mid-year.
Yeah, from mid-year.
From mid-year.
Yeah.
And in the boy, alongside World Cup there.
Yeah.
In the bar, the next big things will be the World Cup qualifiers. No. Yeah. What should we do immediately? Team Libe Drew Ghana. Yeah. Ebi say disband the team. Sack the coaches, yen sign start, yen my 5-10 years, yen build something new. Ebi so because current team, you know, yen maintain Kudus and a few other players and build another team around them. Really, what should we do? Coaches to BB.
Look, Obi, to be frank, the current team, no, I like the idea of building around the young boys.
Okay.
So Maminka say kudos because he has gone through the under 17 and under 20. No? He's a proper Ghana material. So Yebefano, then we'll take the Kamal Deans. Ishahaku too is one of them. Under 17, under 20, under 23.
Yeah.
These boys build around them. But my fear is they may not win anything. Although talented, they may not win anything.
We have time.
Because we need the time. And you see, our football is so disjointed. There's no connection.
Yeah.
So player development is here. Coaching, training too is somewhere.
Yeah.
The point is, and I mentioned it earlier, if you are not going to give Chris Hughton like 5 or 6 years, then let him go. And if you sack him, which coach can we afford that will suit this current?
But on the evidence of the record in the last 15 years, our best national team coach has been Kwesi Appiah. No.
Milo.
Yeah,
Milo.
Yeah. Milo and Djokovic.
In the last 15 years.
And Abraham Grant.
You sure?
Yeah.
Grant took us to the last final.
Milo took us to a World Cup. He took us to a final of an Afcon.
Yes.
Grant took us to a Afcon final.
But in terms of identifying good players and building, putting them together to play very good football.
In terms of style, enjoyable football, I'll say Kwesi Appiah. I've said it time and time again. He's been the most interesting coach. Or he's the coach has given us the most interesting Black Stars to watch. Yabobo under him.
Because that Ghana-Germany game in Brazil. Oh, Jesus Christ.
The Ghana-Egypt game. In fact, let me give you a quick stat. From 2000 to 2020, that 10-year period,
yes,
our biggest wins as Black Stars came with
Kwesi Appiah.
6-1 against Egypt, 5-0 against Ethiopia, 7-1 against Lesotho. It was all Kwesi Appiah. And
with proper football. With football, I was a Ghana bubble.
You see, different times.
Yeah.
The Egypt game came 2013. The Lesotho one was 2012. Then 2017, with a different group of players, was the Ethiopia one, 5-0. You see, I'm not saying we should go back for him. What I'm saying is, with the current group of, and you see, the way our football is structured, the way our talents are groomed, we are a very expressive nation.
Yeah.
We produce players who like they are good on the ball. They have flair, dribbling, goals. Like look at the ACNs, our peers.
Yeah.
There's some skill attached, some flair attached to them. So then you need coaches who can bring the best out of that flock, and that will come from a coach that understands that or sees football in those.
And you see, I am Farmer Hughton long term,
Debbie.
He hasn't done enough to retain his job.
Okay. In the Pam Hughton.
I'll sack Hughton.
The amount long term.
Charlie.
I was here searching.
Yeah,
But
we have to
heavy
search.
now we can't.
But Obi,
We can't afford. You see,
Obi.
that's the thing. We know what we want.
Yeah.
But are we prepared to make that? We
$100,000 a
no,
month.
It's even
But
more
Obi,
than 100,000.
that thing
heavy
is the easy way out, because the decision and the determination of what is technically good for the team, it should not be a public discourse. I cannot tell what the Black Stars need in this moment. Danny can't. We're not technical people. Neither can Dr. Randiabi. They are not technical people, and that is one problem.
But they sat down to choose.
So that is one. See, the fact that
That's where the
fact that Asher Ball Archer,
we had a technical director then. That is his
the
job.
fact that Asher Ball Archer, does not necessarily mean that you can make sense of the nuances of the modern game technically.
Yes.
Going forward, one of the things that we probably have to institute is that technical directorate and leave them to give us the options of
coaches.
So perhaps they'll give you
board.
Yes.
Perhaps they'll give you three, right? They'll give you three options, and that based on your budget, you choose from one. But this idea that we will form a committee, maybe one person, a government rep, then two members of the executive council to go
Scout
and then look
for
for a coach. I'm not comfortable with that idea because I cannot trust that judgment any more than I trust my own judgment. It is a purely technical consideration.
And the result of that was the comeback of Milo.
Yeah.
And the disaster that whole comeback turned out to be.
And you see,
because Ejai Efefuna, they will choose someone they'll be comfortable to work with. Ejai Abana, they will choose someone with the least economic stress
In terms of
on their
pain.
expense. Yes. And Tiebia, someone like Heavy Renard, they won't even entertain that conversation.
But that guy is the person we need.
He is. One final thing that I'm free when I was talking about the players, the national team, I mean, I could be wrong, but in my mind, the national team is an extension of Ghana or government. The management of that team at all times has to reflect a certain appreciation of the pulse of the nation.
Sure.
You cannot in one breath tell Ghanaians that we are going through austerity. But if this team makes it out of this group, they are entitled to $30,000. That is not prudent use of money. Tell them that if you make the semi-final of the Afcon, $50,000 await you. There is more value in that. And not just the money aspect, but in terms of the people that we bring close to the team. George Boateng, we know his history with Ghana and the decision of which country he wanted to represent. In the past, Otuado, we know his history with Ghana during the 2006 World Cup. Not to paint anybody bad, but these are public records. The way they conducted themselves and what is said about their appreciation and how much they respect they had for the country, it is there. Elsewhere, when you are red flagged by any of these incidents, you are done. You won't be national team. I'm just saying that the management of the team has to be done with a certain pride.
I
right?
get you.
The only time that you will make exceptions, and the world over, strong institutions make exceptions because for them it is the results first. It's if you are talking about a generational talent or someone who actually the body of work, actually ne performance, the results, you cannot question it. It makes nonsense of every other
indicator.
Apart from that, our management of young team, it should reflect. Look, the final thing. For some time now, whenever the national team travels, the national security has taken a backseat, and then it is a signs of Ketukweku. It is some people who we cannot even trust their education in terms of the job itself and the understanding of what it takes to protect a national asset outside the shores of Ghana. And every time there is this recent issue here, so Obiruko broke his shooting.
Aziz Bios,
Jim instructor.
Obi, in all of the years, national security will protect Black Stars. Did you hear of any of these stories?
No.
The US Assembly was a gentleman was approaching without a pass, without. You think that in the past the national security have not encountered a scenario like that?
Yeah, but more ways of.
Oh, when you manage one.
Yeah,
when you manage one.
I get you. But Danny, you any point? Danny, finish your point.
Yeah. So I'll sacrifice
You sacrifice
I'll sacrifice Hughton, but we are talking about the immediate term. Sacrifice Hughton and putting a plan for the next 3 or 4 years.
With who in charge?
We have
and
to
search.
We have to search.
Local coach, possibly.
I will not say local coach because we've not invested enough in our local coaches for them to be ready for the Black Stars. That is our fault.
Not even Kotoko's coach.
Kotoko's coach.
Ogum. For now,
I will not
giving him say 3-4 years.
I will not trust him with the Black Stars job. If I want Ogum to take over, then
assistant.
Not necessarily assistant.
Okay.
For me personally, I'll invest in him to go outside.
Okay.
And then maybe come back after a year.
Okay.
When he's gotten some, he's upped his education a bit.
Now,
and then you come. Yeah, then I'll give it to him.
But upping education in what sense? Or a PhD holder for crying out loud?
Look, it's football.
In what?
Football is
PhD
different.
in what?
I don't know.
Look, football is different. And you see, to be frank, for somebody like Ogum, if you give him the opportunity and you give him the little exposure, he can pick up things that will faster than somebody who's now starting.
And he comes across as
he's very intelligent.
As a solid guy. Yeah.
He's very intelligent. You see, when you even watch him with Asante Kotoko, although personally, again, because of what we've done to our league, I don't think it is enough quality to be Black Stars level. But when you watch him with Kotoko, he seems a notch higher than the rest of the coaches that we have in the league. So for me, if we have somebody
also a long-term
plan, I will invest in him, take him places for him to go and learn, and then come back, and then I'll give him the job.
And this is here, we sack Hughton, we search for a competent
coach, affordable coach. And then a very important thing, we cleanse the people around the Black Stars.
And by cleansing, what happens to Didi and George?
Whoever we hire should have a team he's coming with, or should be given the liberty along with the technical team to choose the team that he will be on the edge. And when I say cleanse, I'm not even talking about a technical team. The management members around the team, the what do you even call it?
Black Stars Management Committee.
Black Stars Management Committee, GFA people, members, government officials, the people who follow the team everywhere they go to. They are also one major cause of our problems. Major cause. And I have spoken about it when it comes to culture. Because Obi, if I come to I come on Ekosisi. You are the boss here. If you are talking to me and your producer is talking to me and I'm listening to your producer whilst I'm on air, it's undermining your authority. But imagine the case where the producer of this show is also your boss. You tell me that I should conduct myself in a certain way where I come here, and the producer also tells me I should conduct myself. Who am I going to listen to? I'm going to listen to the producer. But everybody elsewhere will expect me to be listening to you. So then there's a problem. And that's what we need to fix with the Black Stars. The people who hang on these things, look, since Afcon 2019, I've been saying this thing.
And we know the problem. We are just not ready to.
You see, even sometimes these people affect the quality of work that the coach can do. Because the coach may want something. The coach is telling, typical example, if me, imagine I'm managing Kudus, and I'm telling Kudus that, Charlie, and I'm managing Kudus, and I'm also a management member of the FA. And I tell Kudus that, Charlie, last match, you shouldn't have passed that ball. You have the quality when you get to do your thing. And the coach is also telling Kudus, when you get the ball, pass the ball. He knows that if he doesn't pass, the coach can't do anything about it. Because the coach's boss is me.
It's you.
So get rid of those people. If we are serious about coaches working, about the team functioning, about there being discipline, a culture, players who will care about the national team, players who will come and they are so focused will be winning. We'll get rid of those people. So
it is a country, it is England they call tournament. Na team, maybe a tournament with Ukraine. English national team could do her. English FA non call for near the day. They
don't follow them.
No. Oh, you sure about that?
I'm telling you.
But Obi here, but urban branding.
They don't follow. You see, there's a separation in the serious countries. There's a separation between the football side of things and the administrative side of things. In Germany, for example, their team manager, one person, he oversees all the administrative things attached to
protocol.
He oversees everything. So when the coach comes to camp, he has if he has a problem with the hotel room, he's going to team manager. Team manager will deal with it. There's no politician or FA member hanging around the team. If they want to watch the
management committee member,
they don't have those things. One person handles that, all that, and it's not some job that one person can do. It's not some job. Yesterday wasn't it the team manager who decided that instead of the players walking through the mix zone, they should go and pass on corner and go and enter the bus? Wasn't it team manager? And he had the power to make that decision, and the players followed. It's one person who can do that. You don't need management committee members hanging around the team.
Now, Obi bonus.
It's nonsense, and you see, it goes against us because we are paying for all of them. We are paying for all of it. It's our taxpayers' money. We are paying for all of these unnecessary things, and at the end of the day, it is at the detriment of the team. The players can't focus. The coach can't focus. Basa.
Because you know all this while I thought, okay, maybe for the African teams, you would find this in some other African countries. But best practice around the world, you are saying, say, the other national teams, we need management committee members. Our team, they got tournament.
All we are saying is that
maximum 3 people.
All we are saying is that there has to be space for the team to breathe.
With the technical guys.
Yes. Everywhere you have auxiliary supports or auxiliary or support services. It can be technical, it can be administrative, whatever. Obiari and ejuma. Ono nchede ejuma na riyan for best players no service right? It doesn't need to be. Our colleagues who went to speak to Songo and the other journalists who were here and went to that US friendly. Everybody says it was like a marketplace.
A hotel, huh?
Yes.
In the US friendly.
It was excursion. If you want to go and see the team, they are in this hotel, go. And the players
Yako Katano. Or I never got close to the team. I never went to the team hotel. I'm Angasa by nature, I'm in Pendom. I don't do all with crowds. Yeah. But I found it so nauseating that so when it's time for the team to go for breakfast, instead of perhaps about 30 minutes at breakfast, they're probably going to spend an hour and a half. Because whilst they are there, the ambassador troops in. And when the ambassador comes, he wants to be recorded.
In channel.
The MP comes in. The president of the Football Republic. Odoboma speech.
Wow.
So in that small space now, maybe a coach, he would want to freshen the memories of the players.
And say coach name a technical briefing crowd to players now.
There's been times where the FA president has walked into the dressing room. But we also know that the late Jones Atukwefiu sacked Iti Mensah at the Accra Sports Stadium.
So that's what should happen. No, but only the Jones was Jones.
No, make sure that as a papa anymore. See, these guys, they are not stupid. They know what is right, but they will do it because they know they will get away with it, and they have done it over and over again to the extent that it has become a subculture. We saw Kwesi Nyantakyi very often around the national team, but I don't remember too many speeches in front of the players. His speeches will go to the press.
But yes, our motivational speech.
They be so
get us a psychologist come to give us
anymore. When it comes to the football legends, Brazil, Italy, those they have bigger legends than us. So Monday you have Tony Yeboah, Tony Bafu. Tuesday Sami Kufo. The next time Kofi Pari. Then the ambassador will come. Then the leader of government delegation will come. All Kononuso and Kebia. 1 year first, and he will also give a speech. Then the minister will give a speech. Then there is a time that they will come and share the podiums and say among themselves, so what's it? What may in South Africa still it's kind of in dollars. That's what happened in Ivory Coast. What's the young South Africa, but still it's kind of podium in dollars.
In the Danny Clemson, all these people should be away from the team where they can what we should do technically, and then what's next?
Then we fix our grassroots. Fix our grassroots alongside fixing the coaching, so that by the time the grassroots are getting ripe, our coaching is also ripe.
Yeah.
So that by that time, look at Germany, look at England, look at Senegal. Senegal don't have a Obi, let me give you this example. Last Afcon, Senegal's midfield partnership, Ghana Gay, and Crystal Palace guy Sheku Kouyaté.
Okay.
2 midfield partnership. This time around, just 2 years later, Lamine Camara of Metz from the under 20 and Pap Matassa Obo Tottenham Hotspur.
You pray, you know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Obo Tottenham Hotspur. All these guys came from their youth teams. You look at the forward line. They have Ismail Assar. He has history with their youth teams. Point is, they are slowly changing into a new team. But because the results are still coming. They've done the right thing to the point that if I'm telling you that if Mane doesn't play, they don't need him to play to qualify for group stages. They don't. Mane has not been exceptional this tournament, but Senegal have been comfortable.
Very.
You look at their back line, the defensive partnership. Yes, Koulibaly is still playing, but in 2 years, I promise you, they don't need him because they have somebody who will come in and do the job well. That's how you do it. And alongside, their coaches at under 17, they're all Senegalese men. They are all Senegalese and they are learning as they are going. So, if Aliou Cisse, who is the head coach today, decides that he won't coach again, Senegal doesn't need to go overseas because they are already training their coaches, and those coaches are, you see, it's the same philosophy. If you watch Senegal under 20, you watch them under 17, you watch them national team,
the
same style.
You see, I'm some top level European football.
Same style.
Charlie,
they've learned the same
match no
thing.
we need. I'm only Cameroon.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Cameroon. They were facing Cameroon and they were playing that comfortable.
But when says we Ghana team way or Afcon, we match
like 7. Like 7.
Easily. Because the Odoi ne yimu Look,
Obi. It is so important. And see, it is not, I always say this thing, Obi. If somebody hadn't done it before and we are saying we should do it, that would be something else.
Yes.
But people are doing it.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. It's not people somewhere.
And even we have done it. Now, sir, how seamlessly introducing the demo team, you know,
that's
into
how
the
it's
Black
done.
Stars, no? Yeah, be that.
That's how it's done.
2009.
2009. And before that, it was the 2001 under 20
Asian Pencil, Derek Boateng,
and then remnants of the 99 under 17 team.
That was possible because you had a strong schools and college sports then.
Yes.
And you had the players that they produce into, I think, August 9 for an example, a kind of.
Yes.
There was a deliberate attempt to teach football of a certain kind. Into Yabematsnaha, my pedabon, Yabetro. Right?
Yes.
So that on quiet today be under 17 for Kobo be Damaz. So by the time that's 95, 97, 99 group of Ember Power, Don Bote, Essien, Ishmaelado. When you look at them in the national team, they don't look like players who have had scattered different education. Because why?
And
Yes.
To a national team, no, Charlie.
Obi, what I think has to happen, whatever happens next, whether Nyankopon or intervene na
Gambia, Cameroon, 1-1 still.
Okay.
1-1
Nyankopon intervene na etum qualify. Look, Obi, even if by some magic we win this tournament, our football is dead. What we have to Obi no be order catch I
2-1.
What has to happen? Because Mayeri, it is not sustainable. What has to happen is for the government to sit down with the Ghana Football Association. The FA, they are supposed to be the experts. They are supposed to be the policy people with the ideas, the principles, and what they want to teach. Tell the governments that this is what we want to do. Tell them your plan,
your budget,
and how you intend to fund it, and where the government comes in. Right? So that going forward, I mean, we have friends abroad. Sometimes when they tell us their stories, I feel like they are from a different planet. I have a friend in Italy. I have another in China. Obi worrying, you know. Uncle, any of these reputable today, my work and then Koforidia youth resource. Uncle do Kuzago, and then he will not meet an instructor there.
Yeah.
And it's not one instructor.
Sure.
So say or a badminton or boy, especially in China.
Obi wa wa yetria the car.
Yes.
Once you enter
Obetren, they prepare teams, they prepare individuals with unique talents as well. And Enima, Obi, they know these things and they understand it better than I'm a limited knowledge. I'm American.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you have a conversation with them, even before any proper research, they can off the top of their mind tell you what is practical, what is workable. And
but that conversation Busa say you perceive promote under 20 players they be into the national team. You who say team we know players they be any you person omokotena se. Say a young right full back from under 20 perceive promoter do you know?
There Obi here they be ameka the kroma no krona yinzintia. Yet no kroma 2 weeks ago Chelsea came to pick a left back. Chelsea, London, UK. They came to pick a left back from Accra Lions. David Odro. Left back? Yes, he's on trial there. Obo number 3. If they are good enough to be considered there, how come they're in Iron Yen ranks no? Under 17, under 20? 2-2. Allah. Ghana be qualified. How come they're in Iron Yen ranks no? We cannot identify these kids. And there are only 4 or 5 places where these players are identified. Wafa, Right to Dream, Cheetah, Accra Lions. Meaning the academy thing is the answer. It's there. Obi, as for under 17, will get some people to go and represent us. But what will stop the rot? What will stop the decay? Only them. Have a conversation about these things. Look, and some of the things are basic. Godfred was talking about the playground, these facilities, I know you need been put the national stadium, and Echo also are instructors. No, something has to give. If we say this is what we are investing into sports, let's do it right. In the past few years, I spoke to some parliamentary select committee members on sports, and they spoke about the funding components of the sports bill. What are we doing to that? Right? What, your plan for sports development will determine the structure of that sport, the funding components of that bill. But I think one of the immediate things we can do, if Right to Dream ama results na yehuna, why don't we as a country just have an either we copy Obi, or have an equity arrangement with them and own you can. It is too lucrative. They won't give it to you. So dependent. You're on the side note. You know that some of the most profitable academies in Ghana are even registered as NGOs. Oh, obvious. Yes. But I'm just saying that this has to happen. Obi, this has to happen. It has to be done. I want to weigh in. We need to be in. It can be done. There needs to be a conversation about this because otherwise, the whole conversation about the sports fund. It is just a talk shop. They are just pretending to be working. Because funding at the you must have a sports policy in mind. And at each level, you understand what your objectives are, medium, long term. How many instructors do you want to produce? What is the cost of producing those instructors? Where do they specialize? We know that actually, we love our athletics. Are you saying, ESCO no Asia in their regular meetings? Oh, they don't. Are these the kind of conversations? No, they don't. Because when they do, they website. Congress. GFA. Obi. ESCO every time the executive council meets on a matter of significance, they put the story on the FA websites. Obi Orite on check GhanaFA.org. Obi stories near there. Check. Because 5-day training seminar for license D. Then Obi said each Black Stars player would have received $30,000 if Ghana had qualified. 27 players and 10 technical team members. And you say 37 times. Obi Misro. No, we. I said 37 times $30,000. A year 1.110 million. Cameroon are 3-2 up.
Oh,
Yes.
now Cameroon's not normal, yes, sir. Exchange rate no 12 Ghana cedis to $1. In the 12 times 1.1 million, 13.320 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
13 million Ghana cedis. That's 130 billion.
And that's the
Old
country
cedis.
that says they are going through austerity.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Or see, Mozambique has saved Ghanaians 13.320 million Ghana cedis. Or say the elephantine money should be used to pay YEA, NAPCO, and youth and afforestation beneficiaries. The silence of these vulnerable trainees is a threat to our national security. And there's a blessing in disguise. Archimedes and Odiwe, but Archimedes, yeah, that's a papa. Where's a hi, Obi? Good evening. I think we should take this opportunity and take a careful introspection into how we are organizing football activities in the country. We should have reflections on infrastructural development, sport development and training, football identity, and how we would want to manage our football as a nation. Beyond this, we can now prescribe the national team. Prescribe the national team with its technical team members and start afresh, bearing in mind the areas of concern I've suggested above. Thank you and have a wonderful program. Godi Ewotema. And Obi, good evening. The football people are doing it for their selfish gains. Can the government have its own team and put them on salary, use them to play international matches and use that process to pay the players? Doing that, we would have a team that has played together for long and know their movement on the field of play. That can also be a way of reducing unemployment in that sector. Gamel, Ewewucho Brachre. And I think it's one suggestion so up strongly. Say maybe government can have a national team coordinating unit. Take our national teams away from the FA. Now, how they can, so the FA can concentrate on the association and the league.
It's not very
possible.
It's not feasible. It's not possible because to participate in a CAF competition, you have to be a member of CAF.
No, sir, we're a member of CAF.
Yeah, but
we are not disbanding the Ghana Football Association.
That message suggests decoupling it from the GFA.
Yeah, but the point is, there is no law so it says the national team should be managed by the FA. Is there a law that says so?
No, there isn't.
Yes.
There isn't.
Yes. The decision is that the management of the national team, we are taking it away from the Football Association.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we are disbanding the FA.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
I think another suggestion, Abba, and you would see how that one would go. We used to say, okay, let me see. Obi, we have failed to plan, and it has been telling. When last did our under 17 2023 win anything? No, this thing we just have to qualify.
Charlie, God, you love you. God loves Ghana.
It seems we just have to qualify. No, but what does it mean? Is we more draw, you qualify.
No, then
and then your chances.
No, then if these people draw, Morocco has to beat Zambia, which is more likely. That's why a lot of people's eyes are on this one. Because Morocco also need to win to top their group.
Okay.
Yes.
And they have to beat Zambia. And if they beat Zambia, then we can qualify.
Then we've qualified.
Hey, and then Yanko Pound Ghana. But I've heard people also say, and I think Adebayo said it.
The Wanja go no.
Oh, Wanja. Hey. Referee Nanje. Yeah, radio. We say, and it is because the so-called football people benefit regardless of what happens to the Black Stars. The earlier we took away the selfishness out of our administration of football, we are going nowhere. Adomako, Odia Brain, and no, it's really sad. But I am sure if Gambia able to me enya that crucial goal at the Aboa Ghana, as it stands now, no, say we no to me anya draw there and the. We say, Obi, fine suggestions, but we have been here before. Nothing will happen. Kurt will come and explain their actions away with big English. And I think that will be my final question to you both. Yeah, well, 4 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
We've been here before. Said the text and Nakano. Yeah, discussing Black Stars, what we have to do. How do we ensure at this time, any business as usual? Daniel. Because it seems it might be business as usual, and we'll come back here after 2025 and have another discussion.
Then, if we're a serious nation, the government needs to be involved.
Yeah.
If we're a serious nation, the government we can't leave this to the FA and hope that
something will change.
Yeah, the government needs to take a stand and make sure that something changes.
Yeah.
And as Achua said, it's not they don't need to go and fight. But if both entities, if both the association and government are serious about the progress of Ghana football, they will know that something will need to change, and then the government will hold them responsible and put measures in place to make sure that these things change.
Well, so Obi, please, can't the government set up a department under the Sports Authority to manage and run all national football team affairs, budget, employment, and coaches and all? The FA should manage their league so that accountability and professionalism can be established at the same time. They cannot influence national team affairs. Alfred, Eddie, and I think I am beginning to love this particular suggestion, except to say, the National Sports Authority itself, issues. So National Sports Authority are one of the poorly managed state authorities.
Where from the trust and confidence in
the NSC, Charlie. But actually, finally, I mean, what do you think we should do to ensure any business as usual?
The only way is for government to come to the table. Maybe intervention might cause some PTSD for some people, but to come to the table. Every other country which in football, you can see the involvement
of government
and the influence of government, not just their involvement but their influence of government. Even for example, say football clubs are academies now, and when we import equipment we use the kind of duty they have to pay, all of those are things that will either can determine whether someone chooses to set up a base in Ghana or in Mali or in Senegal, where already the markets there has the goodwill. But so all of those are conversations that need to be had. But at the heart of it is because government spends money in sports anyway, right? Yeah. So it is their job to ensure that whatever CD they spend is used judiciously. And look at what the sports policy wants. And here, the question also needs to be asked of the sports ministry and what plan they have. You can only be there to be paying salaries and bonuses. No, it is actually your duty to run sports in the country. So the sports ministry needs to have that conversation with the Ghana Football Association. Look at what policy and more young there every time. And I agree with the listener who sends that text there. I like the fact that the government's invested a lot into infrastructure, even though I wish it had been done a bit differently. But you cannot question the intention behind it. Let us see a more holistic plan, because it cannot be artificial pictures. It cannot be the end of it. Because, for example, you cannot sink millions of dollars into that facility and then we say that a month or 2 weeks after the Florida facility was commissioned, the Black Stars is running around the country looking for a place to train. No.
It doesn't make sense.
So you do that so that it meets the specifications in terms of everything the country needs, and also reflects the unique needs of the country there. The national team needs a place to train in the area such that we will not have to go and spend extra money. But at the heart of it, because and I'm speaking about the policy and all of these things, because those instructors, FA cannot pay them. FA can train them.
That should be government.
Yes, FA can train them. This last year, the Ghana Athletics Association. They were a number. I think the first and second quarter, they trained a number of instructors and used them for their various competitions. It has to happen on a bigger scale, but most importantly, with the intention of influencing talent development. Because that every conversation we're having today is because the talent we have in the national team now is not good enough. And when you leave it to people to train and then you go there and then handpick them, you will be left with an option like Semenyo. Obi, in the past, Yehun strikers be yes, we Emudu Yazi, Kwabna Yaro, Osman Amadou. Osman Amadou was a Champions League winner. He was a treble winner. But today, players who, if you compare them to these guys, they will technically be superior to boys. Them boys now way inferior no Black Stars. It is because we made no effort to train our own and produce our own. In theatre, the boy Obo UK. Another, Jeremy Doku. Both of his parents are Ghanaians. Also Oba Ghana. But because no one really had any influence in his education. He does not feel obliged to play for Ghana.
Of course.
Also, Baba Ghana day. But born in the bomb.
Oh, my.
Achu,
Mamena Senior Fancy, it's already 7. I appreciate you guys so much. Inti Victor Achu Temaklo, our Joy Sports. Sounds like Daniel Crantain, our Joy Sports. Midindi or Sabunsu. Yakase Adia, Cameroon Gambia, Mapon 3-2. Inti it's over. The Black Stars can now comfortably come back home. But there is hope in subsequent tournaments.